This is a treat. Time to drill down on one of 2014's best performers. I'm talking about Actavis, ACT, the generic drug company with some branded exposure that's rallied over 47% year to date. A massive move considering this is a $65 billion company. I think this company has figured out a terrific recipe for value creation, which is why its stock is up nearly 700% in almost 10 years since this show first went on the air. Actavis has become a major consolidator, gobbling up competitors through smart acquisitions that boost its own earnings. First, there was Warner Chilcott. You know, we love that company. It was in 2013. Classic tax inversion that allowed Actavis to change its domicile to Ireland, but I think it worked anyway. Corporate taxes were lower. Now there's talk that the Irish government could phase out some of those benefits in 2020. And, of course, the Treasury Department started going after that kind of deal. But then there was Actavis's massive $25 billion acquisition of Forest Labs, closed this past July. Deal that's expected to generate $1 billion in synergies while dramatically expanding the company's scale, giving them a nice portfolio of psychiatric and gastrointestinal drugs. Plus, lately there's been chatter that Actavis might be willing to swoop in as a white knight and rescue one of our total faves, Allergan, from Valiant's hedge fund-aided hostile takeover attempt. Actavis just reported this morning, wow, company posted an 8-cent earnings beat off a $3.11 basis, higher than expected revenues, 83% bolstered by, of course, the Forest Labs deal. Management giving upside guidance for the full year, which quickly drove the stock to an all-time high. I think Actavis could continue to be a terrific growth story. Company keeps consolidating the generic and specialty farm industries, and the great Lee Cooperman recommended the stock as one of his favorites as CNBC is delivering alpha this summer. Don't take it from me or even from Cooperman. Let's check in with Brett Saunders, the president and CEO of Actavis, find out more about the quarter and where his company is headed. Mr. Saunders, welcome to Mad Money. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Joe?
First of all, congratulations for what you've done for shareholders. I mean, that we go over, well, I've covered a lot of stocks in the time since we started the show, and 700% gain. I mean, you're doing something very right.
Well, we have a great team, and they're all working hard, and we're very dedicated to shareholder return.
Okay, on this quarter, you're talking about how the acquisitions are paying off. And it just sounds like that Forest Labs had a lot more to it than we realized, that you got an undiscovered gem, basically.
You know, Forest Labs had a lot of terrific assets. Probably most importantly, it had 8 or 9 really long-duration assets. And, you know, Linzess for IBS-C. Right. We have some great respiratory products, right, irritable bowel syndrome. And these are growth drivers that have patent protection well into the 2020s.
Well, then, why do you think there's so much talk about what you're going to do with Allergan? You just did this major acquisition. And look, you got a lot on your plate. You did a couple others that I think were really the infectious disease. You've got so much going. Why the chatter? Why do you let guys come out and say Actavis versus Allergan? I mean, you could put an end to it right here, right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, the fact that we get mentioned in the news a lot is, I think, just a compliment. I told our employees that during a town hall today, because I think reporters and the sell-side guys think we're a company with a bias for action. We know how to get things done. We know how to drive value out of acquisitions. But the reality is we're focused on building our company, organic growth, and really driving shareholder return.
But, I mean, amazing. I mentioned that you were on, and David Faber immediately says, oh, my God, I can't believe you got him. And then, you know, frankly, Valiant watched the show and said, you got to ask him. You know, he can't create as much value if he buys Allergan as they can. You could create a lot of value if you merge with Allergan. It seems very accretive to me, even above 200.
Look, at all deals we look at, we would only do it if we thought we could create long-term shareholder value. There are a lot of people out there doing deals today. They're buying declining assets. They're they're doing tax inversions that perhaps don't have, you know, if you're an optimist and you believe that the country will do corporate tax reform, won't have durability, you know, there'll be declining value to that. The key to creating value in our industry is buying things that are accretive to the top line, that have long patent lives, that have good pipelines. We believe in R&D, and we believe in investing in low-risk R&D. And that's how you create value in this industry.
Well, it would seem that both the Botox franchise and the ophthalmological franchise, of which you know that last one very well, would be incredibly additive. And if you think it could be, would you be willing to go friendly and not hostile? I mean, if David Pyatt said, you know what, I like you guys more than Valiant, worth talking to?
Look, I have tremendous respect for David. I was the CEO of Bausch & Lomb. I know the industry quite well. I know David very well. Allergan is one of the gems. I think you're a big fan of Allergan as well, too.
How could you not? He came on the show in '86 and said, listen, we are double, and it doubled.
It's a great company, without question. But, you know, we won't do any hostile bids. That's not who we are.
Right.
You know, we're again, about value creation. To go back to that theme. Hostile deals don't create value, particularly in a specialty pharmaceutical business where people matter.
Okay, this most recent, the Durata and the Furix, these were small, under-the-radar deals to me seem to be very, very pipeline-oriented for the next 3 years.
Yeah, so like Furix, which we closed on this past quarter, July 2nd, we got a drug for irritable bowel syndrome D, diarrhea. We already have Linzess for constipation. It's now with the FDA. We expect it to get approved next year. It could be huge. And, we probably paid somewhere less than one-time sales when it's all said and done.
Right.
1 year sales.
Now, Celgene's been a favorite. We're both Jerseyites. You know that Bob Eugen's my neighbor.
And he's a good friend of mine as well.
But you're still going after Revlimid on a patent, huh? You're still doing it.
Look, we're a balanced company, 50% brands, 50% generics. We view our mission to solve unmet medical need and to provide affordable, well-made medicines. And Revlimid is an old medicine with a patent portfolio around it. Patents only get weaker with time.
But so far,
and we're in litigation.
So far, Bob's doing better. In the last litigation, the last thing I'm going to ask you is that my doctor happens to be a guy named John LaPook. And I'm watching CBS, and he's saying that you're forcing the drug on people for the Alzheimer's drug. It's going to cost people a lot of money. In the conference call today, you say, listen, this is going to happen. The New York State Attorney General against it. Is there a risk that this could be legally blocked?
No, look, there's always a risk because you're going in front of a judge at some point. But I think the reality is we've done everything right. We're charging less for the newer medicine. We're focused on driving innovation. Alzheimer's is a devastating condition. We're the only branded player committed in Alzheimer's. We're doing a lot of R&D, and we're trying to get a return on our investment. But the end of the story is the generics are going to come in when the patent expires in the summer, July of 15. It's going to be a competitive environment, and we're going to win with improvement and innovation.
Well, you've won the whole time for shareholders, so I have no doubt about it. And I think 2015 is going to be a much bigger year. Even this is Brent Saunders. Sorry I went on so long, people, but I have to. President and CEO of Actavis. What a stock. Mad Money's back after the break.